Welcome to the Traphouse Podcast. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe on all social media platforms. And now a quick word about our sponsors. We have Duke Traps with us. Check out duketraps.com. They manufacture over 40 different models of cage traps, coil and long springs, and body gripping style traps, as well as one of my personal favorites, the powder coated dog proofs. Check out duketraps.com. Need a place to sell your fur? Check out Groenewold Fur and Wool Company. Over 50 years in the fur business, the largest and most experienced direct receiver of wild fur in the world. Check out their website, gfwco.com. Top Lot Stretcher Company. They have all the fur processing tools you need to get the job done in the fur shed. From push pins to wooden stretchers, they got you covered. Check out toplotstretcherco.com. J3 Outdoors. They make American trapping products designed for maximum trapline efficiency with products like the Hags Bracket and Spring Clip, as well as the Universal Lock and Beaver Rod ends. Get the tools you need to get the job done. Find out more at j3o.com. And there's only one true way to start out the day on the trapline, and that's with a hot cup of coffee from Trapline Coffee. They have great tasting blends to choose from, as well as chocolates. Head over to traplinecoffee.com for more. And we'd like to welcome the newest sponsor to the team, No BS Lures. Don't let the name fool you. There's more than just bait and lure. This company offers trapline tools and hardware, fur handling supplies, and the No BS traps. Check out nobslures.com. And last but not least, Hoosier Trapper Supply, home of the Top Dog Predator Bait, Jet Fuel Predator Lure. We offer a complete line of trapping baits and lures, deer scent, trapline tools and hardware, fur processing tools, and special package offers. Head over to HoosierTrapperSupply.com.
All right, welcome back to the Traphouse Podcast. We got Gary Groenewold with us from the Groenewold Fur and Wool Company. Your brother's been on the last few years with us, kind of filling us in on what's going on with the market, and but you just had it sounded like an awesome recent trip to China. So I'm sure you have some great insight on what might be going on, and you can share with our viewers. So thanks for being on.
Hey, yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you for what you guys do too. It's very helpful.
Appreciate it.
I was in China about a month ago. I visited our shops there, two different shops, two different locations. We have three, but I visited two. And when I visited them, we also visited the manufacturers, the people that are manufacturing from trims to hats to garments. That's what I visited. And as you saw in the videos, it was a lot of coon manufacturers, from the hats to the trims to the coats. I think I showed that in the videos. I don't know which ones they've released already, but that's what I did do. I also visit our shops where we have all the different items in our shops. So what we do is just inform the trappers, we buy the fur, whatever state we buy it from the trapper in, we grade it, and then it's put in certain grades, but then it's put on a container, shipped to a dressing facility in Southeast Asia, okay? And then it looks like the fur hanging behind you guys, okay? So that's what the manufacturer is actually going to buy from us. And he will say, well, why are you telling me that? Because 10 years ago, we sold raw furs out of our place, and the raw furs out of our place were sold by bales, very specific grades, because the manufacturer did not want to have leftovers, didn't want to have something he didn't use after he bought some raw skins. And so what our business was great at making the grades really precise for those users, okay? However, that type of using or producers doesn't exist anymore. Okay. In other words, you don't have 100 guys buying 100 skins. You have 3 guys, buying 5,000 skins. Okay. So that's what you have today, what you didn't have before. And it used to be fun to travel around the world and try to develop markets and new people and get a little margin here, a little margin there, because you found a new guy. That's completely changed. So what you have is this, I'm talking about China right now, and then I can talk about other markets. But So China supplies around the world. China will supply to South Korea. China will supply to Japan. China will supply to Russia and wherever else the need might be. They even sell some trimmings to the leather industry to India, just so you know, like China will do that. So now there's fewer people in the market. So these fewer people in the market, they don't want to travel around because things can change. They don't want to have, 1,000 coyote skins when coyotes dropped off the table hanging in their offices. That represents 1,000 skins. It represents $100,000. You say 1,000 skins, yeah, 100,000, well, maybe $150,000. They don't want that. That's their profit. So nobody wants to have one skin laying around after production here. So now they buy the skins as they need it. It's literally from our shop to the production facility. They will bring a little van. They'll bring a car with a big trunk, a modified trunk, and throw 500 skins in the back. Okay. That's what they're going to use in the next 2 days. And that's what they buy. So they're not buying something they're going to use for the next year. They're buying something from our retail store, what they're going to use today and this week. So that's first of all, I think, yeah, people have to understand that, and that's part of our investment in the industry and our you could say our way of promoting wild fur in the industry. We have a large gap there before we get our money, and we have actually more investment into the fur before we actually get our money back. So that's what we do, and that's how we set up, because we feel that's the only way. That's what's demanded. So that's the way the demand is in China because, and especially today, I think I explained it in my videos about the influencers on TikTok. Okay. So influencers on TikTok, what they'll do is they'll be like this. I'll just give you an example. I've got a couple of hockey jerseys here. They'll take a hockey jersey, wear it, and say, "This is a beautiful hockey jersey. It's made out of 100% polyester. It's the USA on it." And he said, I wore it yesterday out and everybody complimented on it. And it shows on the viewers, it says how many people are watching, how many people have bought it. And this is what these ladies or men do all day. And they say, well, if you don't like that one, I have one from Finland. This is another official hockey jersey from Finland. And they'll say, I wore this one 3 days ago and it really felt comfortable and you should try that. And so these influencers are and they do a brief, minute, 30-second interview or modeling demonstration with the fur. And that's how people are buying clothes, not just furs or not just outer garments. That's where they're buying clothes in China. It's these influencers. And so these influencers, they're not garment people. They get money from the coat that they sell. And if they have one left over, they lose money. So they just sell what they have. Okay. And what's selling popular. And and you say, well, don't we do that on eBay or Amazon? No, we don't. It's nothing like that. It's literally, instead of going to the store, instead of trying something on, you follow your influencer or your favorite marketer or your 3 or 4 favorite marketers, and that's how you buy. And that's how people are buying in China. So how does this relate to the fur industry? Hopefully I'm not talking too fast, but how does it relate to the fur? How does it relate? It relates in that something can pop quickly. And what we're finding out this year is young people in China are wearing fur. There's a good demand right now for ranch mink. Okay, they've seen it. Okay, there is a good demand right now for wild South. And you say, well, you're not talking about American fur yet. Well, I'm telling you the foundation, the principle behind it first, so you understand it, so we understand it. For South American gray fox, they're using it. They can't use North American gray fox because they haven't advertised that, or it has a different look. Okay. So, but the thing is, it pops and then the prices go up quickly. Okay. There's a large demand, and they're not going to use something like small, maybe like a gray fox in the United States, because they're not the volume. They want something where they have the volume. Okay. So, we have recently sold some related to the industry of TikTok, doing the marketing on TikTok by these influencers. Okay. So that has helped. They were only using Kazakh muskrats. Now maybe it's developed a little bit and they're using American muskrats. So it is having an impact right now, on the industry. And this is why, we think of, the coon, the coyote, the beaver, whatever we have in abundance, we think that that might happen. Okay. So that's a kind of an interesting way to understand the new way of marketing in China, which can make something happen quickly. That's why I don't, especially for this year, don't be depressed as a trapper. We'll go through all the items, but like the first time we've had a mink market, first time, we're sold out of mink. We don't have a mink left. We can use mink. Do you know what I mean? We're selling muskrats. We're selling red fox. So we have all that. That's before I talk about market. I just wanted to put that in there, I guess. And then I guess that's the foundation of why things can happen quickly. Somebody may ask about Russia. What's Russia doing with the war? Fur is getting into Russia through China, not necessarily through us, not through directly, but it gets into Russia through China. So they are still using fur. How the war has affected it has to be negative because when somebody your relatives fighting in war, like why are you thinking about luxury items? So I'm sure that affected.
Right.
And maybe there's more money in Ukraine because we sent money over there, but still the country's in war. It's a state of war. So we don't have, the luxury of those countries, showing their true demand. So that's the first thing. Any questions on that, and before we go to the different items or thoughts?
So just to clarify, Gary, when you were talking that you're sold out of mink, you're talking wild mink.
Yeah, wild.
Right. So where do things stand with ranch mink presently?
Well, with ranch mink, we're seeing the prices actually ascend right now.
Mhm.
Okay. The volumes of what's there, I really don't know. What's going to be produced. It's irrelevant based upon can it be produced the next year? Are they going to use it all? I say it's irrelevant because it has to be a demand driven article. All of our items have to be demand driven. That's what we're looking for at this point. What's in the stocks, it's irrelevant to what should happen to drive up demand. Okay. And we're seeing prices increase. The most recent sale, 15% up, on ranch mink. If we continue to see this has to affect other items. Okay. So that's, it used to be how many ranch mink are out there, what's it going to, how many are left in Copenhagen, you know what I mean? How many are left in America? Those issues are really over. You know what I mean? What are people going to demand? That's the real issue right now. If people see it's being used, we're going to see an increase in the price of ranch minks, and that has to have an effect on other fur. It means, and you say, well, why, what does that mean, really? It means other fur is out there. People are seeing that's what they're the most of is ranch mink, and if they see that, then other items will be demanded because they see people wearing fur. Okay. Another thing in China, how are they wearing fur? A lot of trims, full garment trims around not just the hood, but also down the button zip area. The trims go all the way down there. There are also reversible jackets are popular. Hopefully they showed that one that I wore of sheared raccoon. That's the other thing, something like that. We're actually promoting. So the ranch mink issue, it's a good thing to follow this year. We've got our eyes on it closely to see what happens. but that's a good telltale sign of of demand for fur. It means that people are advertising it as they wear it. So, okay.
So, how does the buyer or the customer at Fur Harvesters, how does that play in, go into the mix here?
Because are they
Okay.
still selling? They sell raw.
Right, they sell raw and they obviously go there and buy bales and
Yeah, they buy lots and they buy bales and
right.
well, I mean there's a lot of actually you could say trinket traders today in the market, for the smaller items and and the volume and things like that.
Hmm.
Mm. Even us, just say, with the volume of wild mink that are caught today, it's not a large volume,
Right.
actually. You
Right.
know what I mean? So, we're talking larger volumes of possibilities of raccoon, muskrats, coyotes, and beaver. Really, what we're talking about, that has to be done. So, okay, so well, I mean, our advantages over that is cheapness of transportation. We ship in a container, 40,000 pounds of green stretch and dried fur, green stretched and dried fur. We have sent green fur. We tried it one time. But we send over their stretched and dried fur. It goes straight to the dressing factory. It's been partially graded, and then it's finally graded exactly the way that somebody's going to use it in China. So the thing is, at Fur Harvesters or something like that, yeah, they have to buy it and then they have to use it. But people that are if a skin dealer is buying, if a Chinese skin dealer is buying in Fur Harvesters, he can manipulate it enough once he gets it back there that, he can sell that there and this here. And, that's the risk that he takes, when he buys a full lot like that.
Right.
But also they have smaller lots. People buy smaller lots, but then it's very expensive to airship it. So, yeah, those are some of the things that I could tell you there. Uh, and a lot of things that have happened with fur harvesters recently is they sold in big bulk units, like the way they sold their muskrats recently, and also, some of their coon. It goes to one guy eventually. When they do a final sale after the sale, it goes to one or two guys, and that's who it goes to. In the large volume of sales when they do it like that. So that's also the way it goes also, and they would ship it in a container. And so yeah, I mean, hopefully that answers your question a little bit.
Yeah.
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 That's wild.
Yeah. So
The game
Breaking
has
up there with
changed.
you.
yeah, it's amazing how it's changed over the years for sure. And obviously you guys are the leaders in that. So it's
I
yeah,
got something for you.
it's pretty
Gary.
interesting.
Speaking of influencers, I'm trying to get on that level.
Influencers.
Hold on.
Yeah.
All right, this is real nice. You can get one of these on the website, link below. See?
Yeah.
I'm
Looks like,
influencing.
aren't we? We're trading those this year for. I don't know the numbers exactly. I think it's $350 worth of fur. We'll give you a receipt and we'll send you a coat that you choose. There won't be any returns because it's too expensive to return it. So, and also with deer hides, we're trading, I think we said 25 deer hides with tails on for a parka. So that's while supplies last. We've had quite a few calls coming in. So, and it's got to be $350 worth of fur. So, I think that's the way that we're doing it. Look at our website or news to come out. Do you, Justin, you might know more about that than I do. Have we posted something on that?
I haven't seen
Do
if
you-
I follow
Yeah.
so much, so things slip through the cracks all the
Okay,
time.
yeah.
I just seen your
I
recent stuff that they're
I
trying
think
to.
we something with the deer hides. I don't know if we've done it with the fur yet, but the coats will not, the parkas will not be on the truck. You have to mail, you have to contact us and then we'll mail it out to you. Because we're not going to carry those around on the trucks.
Right.
Yeah,
So
they're too
get a park.
nice. You don't want to mess them up.
Yeah. Well, some
But
guys come out for trap lines and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
yeah.
Gary, you want to kind of give us the
What
rundown
else
on
do you
what?
want to?
Go ahead.
Yeah, you want to go down on different items, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's. Yeah.
Okay. So, first of all, just to know our personnel, Bryce Kubley, he does a lot of the sales internationally. He works really hard. Let's start. Let's just start with Beaver. Okay, Beaver had kind of a severe slump last year at the very end of the year. The main Hatter buyers bought too high, and the prices went high. The lot was produced. They bought a lot, and they were trying to, you could say, reduce their average or reduce what they had in them. They tried to buy cheap, and as a result, the industry saw the prices go down at the end of last year. Um, there's still cowboy hats out now. So the Beaver, we're working hard to bring that price back up to a respectable level. We're going to see what happens in the next few weeks here with some of our sales. But also there is some interest in some of the heavier shearable beavers, that aren't damaged. So there is interest in that also. So and that's something we might see a distinction in soon. With some of the more shearable types, not for sure yet, but we'll see what happens with that. So that's the beaver market. Okay. So I say go out and trap beavers no matter where you are because there's a Hatter market. Okay. And I wouldn't go by last year's sale at the end of the year. I would expect something. I never like to predict, but the beaver market, as low as it ended last year, nothing will be produced. But I'm telling you guys, go out and produce something. I think something's going to happen in the market. Okay, that's not my crystal ball. That's just a gut feeling. Okay, let's go to coon. The heavier type is usable. There's a slight margin on those manufacturers that I showed you in the videos. It's not. It's they're fighting for every dollar once they sell it. The heavier stuff looks better. On the garments, that's what's more demanded. I'm telling the northern guys, don't start trapping yet. Maybe Minnesota next week. But guys in Iowa, this Saturday it opens. Don't go out and start trapping on Saturday. Wait the 2 weeks before you start getting. It has to be prime stuff again for the northern sections. So the semi-heavy stuff is a little bit harder to move. It's a harder sale, but we still do have a market for it. So that's the semi-heavy stuff. The eastern stuff. One second here. I'm in an office. The semi-heavy stuff, yeah, is still in demand. We can use it. We're gonna, be buying green in Missouri like we did last year. But on the east, we're gonna ask guys. I guess guys gonna be buying green coon, but there's like a really small window there where you can trap in the east because they get beat up so bad, and save the good ones. The eastern coon is a really difficult sale, and guys in the south has to year. So the coon. Oops, I didn't lose you, did I?
It bleeped out for a
Okay.
second.
Okay. Okay, I hit the wrong button. But um, yeah, that's the coon market. I showed it on the videos when I was in China what it's being used for. It's used for the trims on leather jackets. That's a Russian item. The hats that you saw, that's a Chinese item. Okay. And some guys even ask, like, why, if they dye them, why do you need, why do you color grade when you buy? Because it's a special color. Actually, that color, it's called Whisper Shot. It's being used for the last 15 years. It was developed in Russia, and that color people like, and it looks good on a really good on an A, really good on a B, good on a B, and okay on a C, and you can't do it on a D color. So that's why we color grade, because it has a final reflection when they put the dye on it. It's not completely dyed. It's a process. It's called more of a process than a dyeing. That's what happens to the raccoons right now. And then the low end of the raccoon, they're used for liners. Okay, liners inside of coats. That's what they're used for. So yeah, that's where we're at. Muskrats. Let's go to muskrats. Trap them. You're going to be getting mink this year. Trap muskrats. You're going to be in the water getting beaver. Obviously, we're going to be happy. We haven't set our prices yet, so we'll be doing that in the next couple of weeks before we go out. But we're going to be happier to buy muskrats this year than we were last year. When you stock up 2 years worth of muskrats and somebody brings you some, you're wondering why you're spending money on it. But this year, we feel we can move muskrats, so trap muskrats, and we'll see how the market develops during the year, because it's just happening right now. Okay, the muskrats, you could say in the last month have started to move. Okay,
Okay.
so of course that's all sections of muskrats. It doesn't matter. Wild mink, yeah, like they're using them. They like you could say how a wild mink looks. You could say it has a distinct look from a ranch mink, and the way they're using it, we're hoping that continues. Okay, so that's the wild mink there. We hope guys start to go out, and trap some. I hope, could be somewhere for a good buck male stretch and dried 15, no, $12 this year, I would say. Probably around 12, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. Good, stretched and dried male mink that has the size. Okay. Um, I talked about beaver, talked about coon, talked about muskrats, red fox. You got some hanging behind you. That's an item. We used to have thousands in our warehouse, and we hadn't sold them. And it's you could say, and prices moved up a little bit last year. So yeah, prices expect a little bit more from your red foxes this year also. And we can use them. We can use them because yeah, we're getting sold down on those also. Um, what other item? What item? Okay, skunks. Everybody's talking about skunks.
Yeah,
Do you want to?
skunk.
Okay, thought maybe I'd wait that for last
We're
or
getting phone
something. But
calls
yeah,
on skunks, so we're
yeah. Or we people are sending them in. They're sending their skunk tails into us. We're getting a lot. We had people. They said people travel 100 miles in South Dakota now, and they don't see a skunk on the road, or they see skunks without tails and like that. We had a guy tell us that. But yeah, it's being used for a Jewish hat, and it's a ceremonial hat. So the Jews are using it. It's in style now. We have a guy, we work with a guy that he uses them directly. So he has a demand for them. Okay. And everybody's asking you, do you think the price will go down? He has a demand for them, and we're going to see how many are going to be caught this year. Okay. And we got a demand for quite a few. So let's see how that goes this year. So, and that's based upon the tail, the white hairs on the tail, and the length of the white hairs on the tail, and how many there actually are. That determines the price. Okay. And don't start chopping the tails off of skunks with bad tails, because then they're not marketable at all. The tail isn't good, and then neither is your hide good with a little stripe on it, because the hides are still probably good for the rendezvous people also still. So don't start chopping the tails off of you could say not so good skunks. They won't be worth anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my kind of question or my thinking is, So if that's a ceremonial thing, obviously that's not like something new. That's something that takes place all the time. So how come skunks haven't been hot like that for all the
before.
time?
Yeah, well,
I mean,
they've used different. I mean, they used to use sable tails, you know, and
okay,
now
so
they
they
use
switch out that.
they change the style a little bit, and people like the style. It's still, it looks like it's instead of Coke, you've got Coke Zero. You know what I mean? They change it a little bit, and that's what they want. You know what I mean? That's the way it is.
Okay.
You know, I guess that's the best way to explain something like that. Does that make sense?
Sure.
It's a
Yeah.
style. It's a style. The way it looks, the way it appears, and people have to pay the price for it. It's a very expensive hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. So interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Cool.
So, how about coyotes? Everybody's, I
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody want. Yeah, I would love it. Yeah, the trimming market obviously isn't there right now, for the Western coyotes. And that's what they're used for. And people aren't wearing full length coyote garments either.
yeah,
So that's where coyotes are. I'm sure there's a lot of coyotes that are in warehouses. The people that got stuck with some. There's quite a few out there. The first thing, if something moves, is obviously going to be like what you've got on your parka there, a good Western coyote. It's not going to be an Eastern coyote, you know. Yeah, if you stretch and dry your coyotes, we'll buy them in the East, but we'll buy them in the green in the Midwest at relatively cheap prices, and we'll put a price on something for a Western. But we're not going to invest a lot of money in something that we cannot sell. Okay. But yeah, that's where the coyote market actually is. It's a shame. We hope something changes. We hope China goes back to parka jackets, just like what you're wearing there. But it's not there yet. The thing is with coyotes though, with the microplastics that the EU outlawed the fake trim because all the microplastics that come from a fake trim coat. So we're hoping that, why wouldn't people wear a real fur collar, real fur collar coat? Um, so we're hoping that could change in Europe. We don't know what will happen. Um, we have had a few inquiries for some of our Italian customers. There you go with a small amount of furs. A few. They're trying a few sample garments with coyotes, so we'll see what happens. It could pop back. And everybody wants a real coyote trim. It doesn't have to be Canada Goose. It could be the GFW coat or whatever.
right.
It could be some. It's a basic trim on a coat, and people are wearing real fur, and the collar, makes the coat worth $200 more. That's a retailer should jump at that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Or $500 more. So yeah,
Wouldn't that be interesting and quite a boom to see the European market come back actively into the fur market?
I mean that would be beautiful. Why can't it? I was just in Europe last week. I was in Hungary, and they had some colder days there, and women, they're traditionally Eastern Europe. They wore like a blue fox type coat. There were quite a few women with collars trimmed with blue fox. So yeah, it can happen.
Yeah.
And Eastern Europe has money. I mean, it doesn't have to be Western Europe. It could be Eastern Europe, and could be a boom. Yeah, it would be beautiful to see it.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah. Yeah. That would be
and
awesome.
use some coon for some collars, and you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, yeah, these are wishes and desires, but they're possibilities. But one of the biggest possibilities still is what can happen in China. You know what I mean? That can happen the quickest.
Yeah. Uh,
We didn't talk about bobcats or
yeah.
bobcat.
Bobcats.
We buy a lot of bobcats. The Western bobcats we see that are in demand again this year. Okay, the good bellies, good clear bellies are good. Centrals and Easterns, clear bellies. There it is again. The off colors, the Chinese were buying a lot of those. They're not so interested in those anymore, so those don't have a lot of value. But relatively to where you catch it, yeah, a good clear belly will have value. And then obviously the West, the most. So yeah, we're heavy into the cats. So we're looking for that to be a good item this year. Again, it's a luxury item like the sable. We can use sables this year. Sables are have gone up. That's a popular item. Fishers are hanging in there. We'll see what happens with them this year, but sables are a good item. And then chinchilla. Those three extreme luxury items are very good this year. So that's something to just to note that people are wearing those, those type of items. Okay. And then otter, I see that relatively the same as last year, but that's one of those wild fur animals that I don't think I put the picture up on our website. I will show you. I will put on our website. I'll put a picture and send it over to you guys. How it's otters are for the Tibetan market. It's a group of religious people, and they wear them. And I can show you the garments that they actually make for them. Okay, that's still one of the largest demands for otters is the Tibetan market. Okay,
Yeah,
and I think I can send that over to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Just to clarify, sable, American Martin. It doesn't have. We're not
Yeah.
talking. Yeah.
Pine Martin. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then you want to explain good clear belly on a bobcat?
Good clear belly. Well, I mean,
It's the width. It's the width of the white and the clarity of the spot.
yeah, the clarity of the spots, that they're not brown, that they're black, the width of the white, and then that you don't have the invasion of the casty color,
Right.
that yellow color invading, into that white, that's the what you're looking for. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously softness, out west they have that, but yeah, the clarity of the spots and then the white, how white it is, and that you don't have that castiness getting into the white. Okay.
Yep. And you mentioned gray foxes, American gray foxes, or North
I
American.
don't. Yeah, yeah. I think. Yeah, I just don't see a demand for them right now. You just don't see the demand for them. I mean that we haven't sold a lot of them in China when I was there. I asked about them. I might even show them on the video. It's just they're not asking for them right now. If something happens with that coat and they demand the American gray fox, that would be great, but they're not right now.
Yeah. We get everything.
I think so.
But I think so.
So I'd say overall, it all sounds pretty positive. So trappers should definitely be out and about and getting it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not like we're just targeting beaver, like we were. Your muskrats have value. Your coon have value. Your beaver have value. It has value. Coyotes is a bit of a sticker there, but that's the way it is. But trap in the water, you can trap on land, get fox and fox, skunk, coon. You know what I mean? So it's diversified this year. I mean, I think for me, I'm looking at it as the best year ever. You should, I just want not best year ever, but the best year recently, because I'm looking for a lot of different items on the truck. You know what I mean? It's like before, it's like, how much is that run going to produce for beaver? No, we're not thinking like that really right now. We're thinking of all items.
Yeah.
So that's the most positive thing that we can that I can say. It's diversified finally.
Yeah.
What about possum?
Oh, possum. Any interest in possum?
We'll buy him stretch and dry. We'll buy him stretch and dry. I guess I should be paying 50 cents, but anyway, we'll buy him stretch and dry. Yeah.
Okay.
I showed in the video when the possum, they dye them. We're trying to sell possum dyed and then make them look like a sable, but yeah, it's a slow sale.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's it. I can't, I like probably forgot some item. I'm trying to think of. Yeah, and deer hides, bring him to the truck with the tail on. Okay, that's important, guys. Bring him to the tail on because the tail is used, for those same hats that we're talking about with the skunk tails. They don't just use skunk tails; they use other types of fur, like a sable tail or something like that, I guess. So, yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I appreciate your time.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. I think,
I'm excited.
yeah. I mean, I think you just summed it up really good with you're not just interested in one item. It's nice to go out and be interested in several items. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We'll happily buy several, multiple items from you this year, not just one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary, if you would go ahead and shout out the website and what social medias you're on that people can follow along. If we referenced a lot of the videos you've been putting up, maybe they haven't seen or know where to see those.
Okay, so website is GFWCO, Groenewold Fur and Wool Company, GFWCO.com. And we're going to be posting our routes up there probably starting today. The next couple of days, our routes will be primarily all posted for the whole United States. So you can start looking at our website for that. And then, we're on Facebook, Instagram. Abby puts stuff on TikTok. So, yeah, I guess those are the places where we're at on that. Okay.
You guys do YouTube as well, correct?
Oh, of course we do YouTube. Yeah, we show, yeah, primarily we do YouTube. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have the description or link in the description to the website if anyone wants a quick link.
And don't forget about that parka there. Okay, guys,
Yeah.
don't forget you're trading for the parka this year for fur. We'll let you know what it is. And I think it's 25 deer hides with the tail on.
Okay.
Cool. Sounds good.
Oh, are we losing?
Guess that's it. Thanks for joining us. We lost him. Overall, I think that sounds like a good time.
I mean, we're still struggling in the East on the raccoons, but
yeah,
that's kind of been an issue. Well, if anybody, we need to put a video up of an eastern raccoon versus a western raccoon, just because of the straightness of the hair and the good silver flanks, and there is a significant difference, even though you may look at an eastern raccoon and say, hey, this thing's beautiful, and then but as compared to a western, which satisfies a lot of the demand, just because it's considered a better raccoon, and it's been like that for years and years. It's always been that way. But when the market's huge, they use the easterns as well. So, anyways, we'll get to that at some point. So,
please like, share, and subscribe. You know the drill, and we'll catch you on the next one.